Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Charles, and I am the store manager of the WNPA store here at Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park. I've had the privilege of working with WNPA since November of 2023, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with WNPA and Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park. My job here today is to introduce you to the park, give you a little insight as to what it's all about and what we offer. The Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park was first recognized as a National Historical Site back in 1969. It was redesignated as a national park, in 1980. The park itself is divided into what we call districts, two districts. Currently, I'm in the Johnson City district, which is where the main visitor center for the park is. The Johnson City district is comprised of several different locations. You have the visitor center, of course. You have what is called the Johnson Settlement, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And you also have the boyhood home, which is where Lyndon B. Johnson and his family moved to when he was the age of 5. And we'll talk about that more later. The visitor center itself, you can see through the trees up here, the visitor center itself was originally built as a hospital back in 1969. And once the hospital was closed, and the park decided to take it over, it was redesigned and opened as a visitor center in the mid-90s. Inside the visitor center, of course, we have the typical types of things. You have exhibits. You have an exhibit even of the Texas White House presidential office. We offer 4 on-demand videos. And of course, we have the WNPA store. All right. Now, there's more to come, so hang on. Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is Hill Country Charlie, and I'm talking to you today from the Johnson Settlement, which is part of the LBJ National Historical Park. Sam Ely Johnson Sr. and his brother Tom settled out in the settlement on 320 acres back in the late 1850s in this one-room cabin. Now, after the Civil War, Sam married Eliza, and they moved back to the settlement, which by now had a second room added and a breezeway, which then became known as what we would call a dog trot cabin. Now, as you look, oh, guess what? Look who's here today. Yeah, LBJ himself. I guess he's checking out the dog trot cabin. There are also other items of interest out at the Johnson Settlement. Here you'll see a replica of a chuck wagon. Now, the chuck wagon and the dog trot cabin are oftentimes used for groups that come out to talk about the importance of the chuck wagon on the cattle drives. They talk about the life in the frontier at the dog trot cabin and so forth. So those are some of the activities that take place here at the Johnson Settlement. You also have a couple of old stone barns that were built by some immigrants that moved into the area after Sam left the Johnson Settlement. And it's a nice leisurely 1-mile loop that walks through the Johnson Settlement from the visitor center. All right. For now, this is Hill Country Charlie, and I'm signing off. Hey, folks. I'm coming to you now from what is called the boyhood home, which is the other element that's located in the Johnson Street. The boyhood home was actually built back in 1901 by the then Blanco County Sheriff W.C. Russell. Lyndon's family moved to the house when he was the age of 5 in 1913. Do keep in mind during this time period, Lyndon grew up without running water or electricity, and therefore things were pretty rough for him as he was growing up. Just give you a little glimpse of the house itself. This is the other porch. It's often said that Lyndon would hang out underneath that window there and listen to his father and other people from the community discuss politics. I want to show you something here I think you'll find interesting. You'll notice right up here, LBJ is welcoming us into the boyhood home. It's very thoughtful of him to be out or come out and visit with us today. Hopefully you enjoy seeing him representing the boyhood home. I also would point out that we do offer tours of the boyhood home every day. We give 4 tours a day. They begin up at the visitor center. Just to give you a little bit more perspective, the house was actually built on about 1.75 acres, and this is basically what the remaining part of the property looked like. You saw the barn. This was an old shed that was used, and of course you have a windmill and a water collection tank where eventually they were able to get water into the house. Now, Lyndon lived here until he graduated high school in Johnson City, and then off and on for a few years until he went into politics. So that's the other element that you will find in the Johnson City district. Hey folks, this is Charles here again. I'm standing here at the entrance to the Lyndon National Historical Park, the Ranch District. You can see, oh, there's Lyndon there welcoming us to the park. And you might also be able to see it. I know it's a little, but it's an International Dark Sky Park. So that's important out here in the Texas Hill Country. Behind us here, we have the one-room Junction School. This is a school that Lyndon attended for a couple of months when he was 4 years old, basically because he kept running down here when he heard the kids outside playing. We're going to head down the road to check out the birthplace and the cemetery. We're standing here now at the cemetery, family cemetery of Lyndon B. Johnson. Here, let me show you this wayside real fast. This will give you an idea of what the headstones actually look like, because this is a private cemetery and public is not allowed inside the stone wall. But anyway, Lady Bird, Lyndon Johnson, and many other family members are buried back in this family cemetery. We're now standing here in the show barn on the LBJ Ranch. I thought I'd stop here because we always move some cattle into the show barn so guests can see some of the cattle up close and personal. This is one of the big bulls out here at the ranch. You can see it's a pretty good sized rascal. Over here we have one of the mama cows and her calf that was born back in August. What I'd like to point out real quickly, if you can see, these cattle are branded on their horns. This is how LBJ wanted them branded. He didn't brand them on the hide. You'll also notice they use weights to cause their horns to curve down so they can kind of outline the face of the cow. One thing we also want to remember is all of these cattle here at the show barn or on the ranch itself are descendants of the original herd that LBJ had out here at the ranch. The last thing I'd like to mention to you, you might notice this, the drive that goes through the ranch or through the show barn here. He constructed this wide enough so he could drive his Lincoln Continental right through the show barn to show off his animals whenever he had guests with him, which I think is kind of interesting. Thank you, Lyndon, for showing us around. Okay, folks, we have now come full circle in our study, our look at the Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park. I would point out to you that there was one area at the ranch that I was unable to show you. That is the Texas White House complex, which is the main draw out here, by the way. But because of the major construction project going on there, we were unable to get in there to get pictures of that. I do want to thank our operations manager, Julie, for giving us the opportunity to show you the Johnson National Historical Park. I want to thank you guys for bearing with me while you watch this thing, and hopefully it was something that it gave you some information. I also want to thank Hill Country Charlie for coming out and helping, and LBJ for taking us around the national park sites. Last but not least, I do want to point out that no animals were harmed in the making of this video. Thank you very much and have a great day.